The seventh and last day of the July 97 7-day retreat in Springwater. So many sevens, 7, 7, 7. It's good luck. Beautiful, cool morning in which we will read, no talk this morning, we will read from the writings of past spiritual teachers and authors, poets, present and past. The first selections are from Huang Po, book called The Zen Teaching of Huang Po, translated by John Blofeld. The selections have been abbreviated, some words or sentences left out. This is not to represent or present Huang Po, but pick what fits so well into what we have been talking about, looking at during the past week. Huang Po lived about 1,000 years ago in China, and his scholar, governor, disciple wrote down these sermons and dialogues. The Master said to me, all the Buddhas and all sentient beings are nothing but the one mind, beside which nothing exists. This mind, which is without beginning, is unborn and indestructible. It is not green nor yellow and has neither form nor appearance. It does not belong to the categories of things which exist or do not exist. Nor can it be thought of in terms of new or old. It is neither long nor short, big nor small, for it transcends all limits, measures, names, traces, and comparisons. It is that which you see before you. Begin to reason about it, and you at once fall into error. It is like the boundless void which cannot be fathomed or measured. This one mind alone is the Buddha, and there is no distinction between the Buddha and sentient beings, but that sentient beings are attached to forms and so seek externally for Buddhahood. By their very seeking, they lose it. For that is using Buddha to seek for Buddha, using mind to grasp mind. Even though they do their utmost for a full eon, they will not be able to attain to it. They do not know that if they put a stop to conceptual thought and forget their anxiety, the Buddha will appear before them. For this mind is Buddha, and Buddha is all living beings. It is not the less for being manifested in ordinary beings, nor is it greater for being manifested in the Buddhas. Mind is like the void. It's not the mind of thought he's talking about. I think we're clear about that. Mind is like the void in which there is no confusion or evil. As when the sun wheels through it, shining upon the four corners of the world. For when the sun rises and illuminates the whole earth, the void gains not in brilliance. And when the sun sets, the void does not darken. The phenomena of light and dark alternate with each other, but the nature of the void remains unchanged. If you look upon the Buddha as presenting a pure, bright, or enlightened appearance, or upon sentient being as presenting a foul, dark, or mortal-seeming appearance, these conceptions, resulting from attachment to form, will keep you from supreme knowledge, even after the passing of as many eons as there are sands in the Ganges. There's only the one mind, and not a particle of anything else on which to lay hold. Even if you go through all the stages of Bodhisattva's progress toward Buddhahood, one by one, when at last in a single flash you attain to realization, you will only be realizing that which has been with you all the time. And by all the foregoing stages, you will have added nothing at all. You will come to look upon those eons of work and achievement as no better than unreal actions performed in a dream. That is why the Buddha said, I truly attain nothing from complete, unexcelled enlightenment. So, full understanding can come to you only through an inexpressible mystery. The approach to it is called the gateway of the stillness beyond all activity. If you wish to understand, know that a sudden comprehension comes when the mind is purged of all the clutter of conceptual and discriminatory thought activity. Not till your thoughts cease all their branchings here and there, not till you abandon all thoughts of seeking for something, will you be on the right road. Though others may talk of the way of the Buddhas as something to be reached by various pious practices and scripture study, you must have nothing to do with such ideas. A perception sudden as blinking that subject and object are one will lead to a deeply mysterious, wordless understanding. And by this understanding you awake to the truth. Your true nature is something never lost to you even in moments of illusion, nor is it gained at the moment of enlightenment. It depends on nothing and is attached to nothing. It is all-pervading, spotless beauty. It is the self-existent and uncreated absolute. Absolute meaning dependent on nothing. It is a jewel beyond all price. Questioner, but how can we prevent ourselves from falling into the error of making distinctions between this and that? Wangpo, by realizing that though you eat the whole day through, no single grain has passed your lips, and that a day's journey has not taken you a single step forward. Also, by uniformly abstaining from such notions as self and other. Do not permit the events of your daily lives to bind you, but never withdraw yourselves from them. Avoid the error of thinking in terms of past, present, and future. The past has gone, the present is a fleeting moment, and the future has not yet come. When you practice meditation, sit in the proper position, stay perfectly tranquil, and do not permit the least movement of your minds to disturb you. This alone is what is called liberation. These are excerpts from Krishnamurti talks and writings assembled by the Krishnamurti Foundation in India, Krishnamurti Foundation, India. The earliest selection from the Star Bulletin, 1932. The individual problem is the world problem. If the individual has found happiness, has created order within himself, then he will create order in the world around him. And in helping others to solve their own individual problems, he will help to solve the world problems. You think that in seeking the liberation of the self there is the suggestion of egotism. You think that to be eternally happy is a selfish realization. You think that to be free from all sorrow and strife is the desertion of the world. This is a misconception. Liberation is the very antithesis of the sense of the ego, of the I-ness. It is the ultimate realization for all people. And in 1940 in Ojai, I personally feel that the world is myself, that what I do creates either peace or sorrow in the world that is myself. And as long as I do not understand myself, I cannot bring peace to the world. So my immediate concern is myself, not selfishly, not merely to alter myself in order to gain greater happiness, greater sensations, greater successes. For as long as I do not understand myself, I must live in pain and sorrow and cannot discover true peace and happiness. The Meditative Mind, a selection of passages issued by the KFA, Krishnamurti Foundation, America. From the Flame of Attention. It is immensely important to know and to understand the depth and beauty of meditation. Human beings have always been asking from timeless time whether there is something beyond all thought, beyond all romantic inventions, beyond all time. Human beings have always been asking, is there something beyond all this suffering, beyond all this chaos, beyond wars, beyond the battle between human beings? Is there something that is immovable, sacred, utterly pure, untouched by thought, by any experience? This has been the inquiry of serious people from the ancient of days. To find that out, to come upon it, meditation is necessary. Not the repetitive meditation that is utterly meaningless. There is a creative energy which is truly religious when the mind is free from all conflict, from all the travail of thought. To come upon that which has no beginning, no end. That is the real depth of meditation and the beauty of it. Here's a selection from the beginnings of learning, talking to students at Brockwood in England. When you sit very quietly or lie down very quietly, the body is completely relaxed, isn't it? Have you ever tried to sit very, very quietly? Not to force it, because the moment you force it, it is finished. To sit very quietly, either with your eyes closed or open. If you have your eyes open, there's a little more distraction. You begin to see things. So after looking at things, the curve of the trees, the leaves, the bushes, after looking at it with care, then close your eyes. Then you will not say to yourself, what's happening? Let me look. First, look at everything. The furniture, the color of the chair, the color of the sweater. Look at the shape of the tree. After having looked, the desire to look out is less. I've seen that blue sky and I've finished with it, and I won't look again. But you must first look. Then you can sit quietly. When you sit quietly or lie down very quietly, the blood flows easily into your head, doesn't it? There's no strain. That's why they say you must sit cross-legged with head very straight, because the blood flows easier that way. If you sit crouched, it's more difficult for the blood to go into the head. So you sit or lie down very, very quietly. Don't force it, don't fidget. If you fidget, then watch it. Don't say, I must not fidget. Then when you sit very quietly, you watch the mind. First you watch the mind. Don't correct it. Don't say this thought is good and that thought is not good. Just watch it. Then you will see that there is a watcher and the watched. There's a division. The moment there is a division, there is conflict. Now, can you watch without the watcher? Is there a watching without the watcher? It is the watcher that says, this is good and that is bad. I like this and I don't like that. Or I wish she hadn't said this or that. I wish I had more food. To watch without the watcher, try it sometime. That's part of meditation. Just begin with that. That's good enough. And you will see, if you have done it, what an extraordinary thing takes place. Your body becomes very, very intelligent. Now the body is not intelligent because we have spoiled it. You understand what I mean? We have destroyed the natural intelligence of the body itself. Then you will find that the body says, go to bed at the right time. It wants it. It has its own intelligence and activity. And also, if it wants to be lazy, let it be lazy. A chapter from I Am That by Nisargadatta, lived around approximately the same time as Krishnamurti, died a few years earlier, in India. This is translated by Maurice Friedman. Questioner. Maharaj, you are sitting in front of me, and I'm here at your feet. What is the basic difference between us? Nisargadatta. There is no basic difference. Questioner. Still, there must be some real difference. I come to you, you do not come to me. Nisargadatta. Because you imagine differences, you go here and there in search of superior people. Nisargadatta. You too are a superior person. You claim to know the real while I do not. Nisargadatta. Did I ever tell you that you do not know and therefore you are inferior? Let those who invented such distinctions prove them. I do not claim to know what you do not. In fact, I know much less than you do. Questioner. Your words are wise, your behavior noble, and your grace all-powerful. Nisargadatta. I know nothing about it all and see no difference between you and me. My life is a succession of events just like yours. Only I am detached and see the passing show as a passing show, while you stick to things and move along with them. Questioner. What made you so dispassionate? Nisargadatta. Nothing in particular. It so happened that I trusted my guru. He told me I am nothing but myself, and I believed him. Trusting him, I behaved accordingly and ceased caring for what was not me nor mine. Questioner. Why were you lucky to trust your teacher fully while our trust is nominal and verbal? Nisargadatta. Who can say it happened so? Things happen without cause and reason. And after all, what does it matter who is who? Your high opinion of me is your opinion only. Any moment you may change it. Why attach importance to opinions, even your own? Questioner. Still, you are different. Your mind seems to be always quiet and happy, and miracles happen around you. Nisargadatta. I know nothing about miracles, and I wonder whether nature admits exceptions to her laws, unless we agree that everything is a miracle. As to my mind, there is no such thing. There is consciousness in which everything happens. It is quite obvious and within the experience of everybody. You just do not look carefully enough. Look well and see what I see. Questioner. What do you see? Nisargadatta. I see what you too could see here and now, but for the wrong focus of your attention. You give no attention to yourself. Your mind is all with things, people, and ideas, never with yourself. Bring yourself into focus, become aware of your own existence. See how you function. Watch the motives and the results of your actions. Study the prison you have built around yourself by inadvertence. By knowing what you are not, you come to know yourself. One thing is certain. The real is not imaginary. It is not a product of the mind. Once you are convinced that you cannot say truthfully about yourself anything except I am, and that nothing that can be pointed at can be yourself, you're no longer intent on verbalizing what you are. All definitions apply to your body only and to its expressions. Once this obsession with the body and its expressions goes, you will revert to your natural state, spontaneously and effortlessly. The only difference between us is that I am aware of my natural state while you are bemused. Just like gold made into ornaments has no advantage over gold dust, except when the mind makes it so, so are we one in being. We differ only in appearance. We discover this by being earnest, by searching, inquiring, questioning daily and hourly, by giving one's life to this discovery. A few selections from Being and Becoming, Vimalataka, Indian woman, teaches in India. This book is made up of transcriptions of talks, dialogues, took place in Dalhousie, India in 1989. Again, like in the previous readings, these are things are being omitted for clarity's sake. If you read it by yourself, it's different. We are talking about an alternative way of living, which is a meditative way of living. Acquire knowledge, let it flow through you, let it be utilized in its relevant field without creating a knower. Without thought creating the knower, the me who knows. If we look at the roots of all human misery, we will find that misery is built upon our stupidity. I prefer to say stupefaction. We do not know how to relate to the social structures and use them without identification, without creating a sense of authority out of them. Structures are not sacred. It is only life that is sacred. Patterns have no sacredness, whether you create them in the name of religion, spirituality, or politics. It is the pattern-free, structure-free, virgin dynamism of life that is sacred, that is divine. Wherever you have touched it with thought, you have manipulated it, you have structured it. It has a utility, but not sanctity. It has a utility, but no authority. Knowledge itself has no power to bind you. It is the creation of the knower that is the obstacle. Me who knows. You have a beautiful, sensitive body, and the sensitivity gets into touch with their respective objects outside, and they bring sensations. Sensations are converted back to electric impulses, and the brain interprets them. It's a marvelous process, what we call experiencing. Contact with the outside world through the senses, which are very delicate, very tender. It's quite hard and arduous work to keep your sensual system pure, healthy, supple, and elastic. Let the experiences flow through the sensual system. Nothing wrong in a sensual, sexual experience, but you create an experiencer and you get stuck in the experience. And its likes and dislikes, its value structures, and so forth. If the sensual contact with objects is allowed to flow through you without creating an experiencer, then the limited human-made world cannot corrupt you. You acquire knowledge and you appear as an individual playing the role of a father, a mother, brother, son. You are one, appearing as many. There's no identification with a fatherness, sonness, daughterness, sisterness. And you don't tie so many knots inside, but play the roles sanely, completely, with the magnificence of an inner equipoise. Then your appearing as many, functioning as many, shall not corrupt you, fragment you. You see what a marvelous responsibility we as human beings have? When there is no knower and no experiencer, there would not be any dogmatism. You don't become dogmatic, insistent, assertive, aggressive. Identification is the source of aggression. Verbal aggression is the beginning of physical violence. The word meditation has been identified with psychophysical exercises, concentrations, methods, techniques, kundalini, shakti paths. The word has been abused and misused in such a callous way. No authority and no effort. Freedom from authority and freedom from the struggle of efforts. Once you know that these human-made enclosures are only to be lived in, then the sense of comparing yourself with others, like he has a palace and I have a hut, he has millions and I only have thousands. It's India. Hundreds. Whatever. The sense of comparison and the ambition for competition disappears. Your economic life becomes simple. No vanity, no pride about your scholarship, erudition, and so forth. And your social life becomes simple. You do not move around with a begging bowl for sympathy, acceptance, prestige, acknowledgement. Reconciled to the limitations, to the enclosures, you live and move in it freely. Can you see with me that effortlessness is the content of silence? Silence is not only sitting still, it is a way of living. Silence is inner freedom from the authority of the past. Meditation has no repetition at all. It is moment to moment. In the moment of relating, you are living. In a moment of aloneness, you're dying. It is living and dying, like inhaling and exhaling. To be alone is to die to the sense of being somebody or being something. Is not that the content of death and dying? To be alone is to die to the sense of being somebody. Sinner, saint, holy, knowledgeable, respected, rich, poor, and so forth. To be alone is to die to being something according to the definition of society, according to the value structure of religions. Physically isolating yourself may not lead you to this aloneness. It may not. That is what we're afraid of, dying to the sense of being somebody. Dying to all the images that you have built up about yourself is being alone. The way we are tackling the theme may be unusual, unheard of to many. It is a non-conventional way, a non-traditional approach. But I'm really grateful that life brings you and me together. Here are some selections from The Enlightened Heart, an anthology of sacred poetry edited by Stephen Mitchell. Lippo, 701 to 762. You ask why I make my home in the mountain forest, and I smile and am silent. And even my soul remains quiet. It lives in the other world, which no one knows. The peach tree blossom, the water flows. The birds have vanished into the sky, and now the last cloud drains away. We sit together, the mountain and me, until only the mountain remains. Layman Pang, 8th and 9th century. When the mind is at peace, the world too is at peace. Nothing real, nothing absent. Not holding on to reality, not getting stuck in the void. You're neither holy nor wise. Just an ordinary fellow who has completed his work. My daily affairs are quite ordinary, but I'm in total harmony with them. Don't hold on to anything, don't reject anything. Nowhere an obstacle or conflict. Who cares about wealth and honor? Even the poorest thing shines. My miraculous power and spiritual activity, drawing water and carrying wood. Izumi Shikibu, 974 to 1034. Watching the moon at dawn, solitary mid-sky, I knew myself completely, no part left out. Rumi, 13th century. I have lived on the lip of insanity, wanting to know reasons, knocking on a door. It opens. I've been knocking from the inside. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there's a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. Outside the freezing desert night, this other night inside grows warm, kindling. Let the landscape be covered with thorny crust. We have a soft garden in here. The continents blasted, cities and little towns, everything become a scorched, blackened ball. The news we hear is full of grief for that future. But the real news inside here is there's no news at all. Ryokan, 1758-1834. First day of spring. The sky is bright blue, the sun huge and warm. Everything is turning green. Carrying my monk's bowl, I walk to the village to beg for my daily meal. The children spot me at the temple gate and happily crowd around, dragging my arms till I stop. I put my bowl on a white rock, hang my bag on a branch. First we braid grasses and play tug of war. Then we take turns singing and keeping a kickball in the air. I kick the ball and they sing. They kick and I sing. Time is forgotten, the hours fly. People passing by point at me and laugh. Why are you acting like such a fool? I nod my head and I don't answer. I could say something, but why? Do you want to know what's in my heart? From the beginning of time, just this. In all 10 directions of the universe, there's only one truth. When we see clearly, the great teachings are the same. What can ever be lost? What can be attained? If we attain something, it was there from the beginning of time. If we lose something, it is hiding somewhere near us. Look, this ball in my pocket. Can you see how priceless it is? These are few poems from One Robe, One Bowl, also Ryokan. An evening dream. Everything must have been an illusion. I cannot explain clearly even one part of what I saw. Yet, in the dream, it seemed as if the truth were in front of my eyes. This morning, awake, Is it not the same dream? A thief has stolen my cushion and mat. Why did he break into my hermitage? The door is never locked. The night is ending, and I sit alone by the window. A sparse rain falls gently against the bamboo grove. Lying on my grass pillow, dreaming about this dream world again, lonely, fitful sleep. As I watch the children happily playing, without realizing it, my eyes fill with tears. Thinking about the people in this floating world far into the night, my sleeve is wet with tears. The thief left it behind. The moon at the window. Too lazy to be ambitious, let the world take care of itself. 10 days' worth of rice in my bag, a bundle of twigs by the fireplace. Why chatter about delusion and enlightenment? Listening to the night rain on my roof, I sit comfortably with both legs stretched out. A poem by Wendell Berry, The Peace of Wild Things. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake nests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. Selections from poems by Mary Oliver. White Pine is this book. This poem is called Work. How beautiful this morning was Pasture Pond. It had lain in the dark all night, catching the rain on its broad back. All day I work with the linen of words and the pins of punctuation. All day I hang out over a desk, grinding my teeth, staring. Then I sleep. Then I come out of the house, even before the sun is up, and walk back through the pine woods to Pasture Pond. from the house of light, the kingfisher. That's a bird. The kingfisher rises out of the black wave like a blue flower. In his beak he carries a silver leaf. I think this is the prettiest world. So long as you don't mind a little dying, how could there be a day in your whole life that doesn't have its splash of happiness? There are more fish than there are leaves on 1,000 trees. And anyway, the kingfisher wasn't born to think about it or anything else. When the wave snaps shut over his blue head, the water remains water. Hunger is the only story he has ever heard in his life that he could believe. I don't say he's right. Neither do I say he's wrong. Religiously, he swallows the silver leaf with its broken red river. And with a rough and easy cry, I couldn't rouse out of my thoughtful body if my life depended on it. He swings back over the bright sea to do the same thing, to do it as I long to do something, anything, perfectly. The notebook. 6 a.m. The small pond turtle lifts its head into the air like a green toe. It looks around. What it sees is the whole world swirling back from darkness. A red sun rising over the water, over the pines, and the wind lifting, and the water striders heading out, and the white lilies opening their happy bodies. The turtle doesn't have a word for any of it. The silky water, or the enormous blue morning, or the curious affair of its own body. On the shore, I am so busy scribbling and crossing out, I almost miss seeing him paddle away through the wet black forest. More and more the moments come to me. How much can the right word do? Now a few of the lilies are a faint flamingo inside their white hearts. And there is still time to let the last roses of the sunrise float down into my uplifted eyes. Our last selection, the sun. Have you ever seen anything in your life more wonderful than the way the sun, every evening, relaxed and easy, floats toward the horizon and into the clouds or the hills or the rumpled sea and is gone? And how it slides again out of the blackness every morning on the other side of the world, like a red flower streaming upward on its heavenly oils. Say, on a morning in early summer, at its perfect imperial distance, And have you ever felt for anything such wild love? Do you think there's anything, anywhere, in any language, a word billowing enough for the pleasure that fills you as the sun reaches out, as it warms you, as you stand there empty-handed? Or have you too turned from this world? Or have you too gone crazy for power, for things? We will end here for today.